But you certainly couldn't say that about the 1966 final, which we're going to see now. Everton against Sheffield Wednesday, and I'm delighted to say that Everton's winning captain from '66, Brian Labone, is with us. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you.
The problem we've had so far is in jogging memories, really. A lot of people forget about their FA Cup final.
No, I remember quite a bit of it, yes, yeah.
Good, because it was some match, wasn't it?
It was well, eventually it was some match, yes. I mean, it's great for a neutral observer, but we were red-hot favourites, and it was rather nail-biting for us.
For an hour, it was a nightmare.
Yes, yeah.
I'll bet. '66, of course, the year that England had just won the World Cup, as we've been saying with Bobby. 25 years almost to the day. It was the era when Merseyside seemed to rule the world. The Beatles had 2 more #1 hits that year to add to their list, Paperback Writer and Yellow Submarine. And Liverpool won the league championship again under Bill Shankly. In fact, they only just missed out on their first European trophy, going down to Borussia Dortmund in the final of the Cup Winners' Cup. Roger Hunt was the first division's top scorer with 30 goals. So really, Brian, Everton just had to win the Cup in '66. It was as simple as that, wasn't it?
With Liverpool having won the year before, yes, it was down to us to win it. And we were, as I say, red-hot favourites, so... And Sheffield, you know, weren't particularly good side. You know, we'd beaten, I think, twice in the league that year. And so there was no danger, well, as we thought.
Yes, so you thought. Let's just check on the routes to the final. Everton first. Now, you pointed out earlier that you went all the way to Wembley without conceding a goal, of course, doing the 2 Manchester sides in the 6th and then the semi-final.
That's right, yes.
Some record, wasn't it?
Well, it looks better on there than it was in fact, because I'm sure there were 1 or 2 open goals missed by the opposition. But it looks great on paper.
And Sheffield Wednesday, there it is, fairly uneventful, beat Chelsea in the semi-finals. Now, you thought, naturally, that Chelsea would win that.
Yes, we were expected to be playing Chelsea, yeah.
And I suppose Manchester United would say the same thing.
Yes, well, United had just come back, I think, from a long trip in Europe, and so we had them. They're probably a bit fatigued, because it happened to Everton many years later, but we beat them by a Colin Harvey bobbler from about 25 yards.
Well, they all count, don't they? Let's have a look at the teams coming out at Wembley, then. Still in black and white. Sharp haircuts. Now, where are you? Left of...
Just left behind Harry, yes, Harry Catrick.
Do you remember much of this?
No, just when you come up the tunnel, the amazing sound, you know, the sort of the tumultuous roar. It really is terrifying, you know. Once the game starts, you're all right. You wonder what you were nervous about, but...
Ray Wilson there didn't look too unhappy about it.
No, well, Ray was one of those characters that was bouncy all the time. You know, in the dressing room, he was chirpy as a sparrow. Most of us, or myself and Gordon West in particular, we'd probably be a bit withdrawn. But Ray was always cracking the jokes.
Wouldn't expect that from you.
No, I'm quite a talkative person, but I must admit I took the game seriously, especially when playing for my hometown team, Everton. And I always think with a defender, well, I know Ray was a defender as well, but as a centre-half, you know, you're in the position where one rick can sort of blow the entire game, you see. So I built pressure upon myself on many occasions, and when, as I say, when the game kicks off, you think, what the heck was I losing sleep about? Because you can't do anything about it, and you're involved in it. But
yes.
Gordon West was much worse than me. Gordon was... he'd bring his meals back, you know, he just couldn't, he was so nervous, yeah.
It's extraordinary, you know, when you hear things like that.
Oh, it is amazing.
Let's have a look at the 2 teams then. Of course, Gordon West keeping goal for Everton. Some famous names in that lineup too, aren't there?
Yes, Jimmy Gabriel, now on the Everton training staff.
So too, of course, is Colin Harvey.
Colin, yes, yeah.
And Sheffield Wednesday, Don Megson, wearing 3. Sam Ellis, who went on to manage Blackpool.
Well, Sam was just a young, I think he was a reserve, and I think the centre-half, I can't remember if the centre-half was there then in those days, a regular, but Sam was sort of lobbed in at sort of a very young age, 18 or 19. Jim
McCalliog wearing 9, no big centre-forward.
No, that's what I think unsettled Everton early on in the game. They were very mobile forward line, Johnny Fantham and Quinn, and I must admit, I think like most big centre-halves, you prefer a 6-foot, a chap who's good in the air and limited pace and probably limited ability, so you knew where you were at, but they interchanged quite a lot in the first half.
They moved too quickly.
Yes, yeah, we had trouble checking them early on, yes.
Well, let's go back to '66 then. Everton and Sheffield Wednesday. Our commentator, Kenneth Wolstenholme.
It's Everton who are going to kick off. Remember, Everton have reached Wembley, the first team ever to reach the cup final at Wembley without conceding a goal. Young, Trebilcock on the far side, hands on hit number 8 is Trebilcock on this side, on the far side of Harvey. And already Trebilcock, although wearing number 8, is in the inside left position. That's strange to see a Wembley final starting 2 minutes early. Don't expect miracles right at the start. This is when players can make mistakes. The feel of this turf. This is Eustace, fine midfield player for Sheffield. Labone, Scott, and here's Gabriel.
Well, Brian, the first thing I noticed about this match was Gordon West, who I remember could throw a ball some distance anyway, but he did everything in this match, didn't he?
Yes, Gordon, you could throw the ball to the halfway line or beyond, but this particular match, he'd had a thigh strain for quite some time, and you'll see here he throws everything, and of course the dead balls are taken by myself or one of the other defenders, but every ball was thrown from hand. I don't recognise that chap. Oh, God, it's me.
A nervous starter. Had you settled at this point?
Yes, once the whistle blows, your mind's on the game, you just disregard the crowd. It's only when the game is brought to a halt that you look around and see 100,000 faces, you know, but once the game starts, it's a fait accompli then. You've got to get on with the job.
Good set of players? Good characters?
The Everton team,
yeah.
Certainly. Brian Harris was our left half, just heading the ball there now. He was a heck of a character, typical Scouse character, Brian. A very underrated player. Alex Scott, we used to call him Chico. He's a flying machine, Alec. Head down and knock the ball past the fullback and just run onto it. Very, very quick.
And typical of the sides that Harry Catterick used to want to build, to put together? Yes.
Harry liked a strong defence, but he liked skill in the side as well. Harry Catterick's sides were not boring. They defended first, but when they sort of got themselves settled in, that they could play well. And of course, there's some of the skill in that team there with Colin Harvey and Jimmy Gabriel. And of course, Ray Wilson, probably the best left back I've seen anyway, or ever played with. But very soon, I think, they're going to score.
Calliope. At the corner. First corner of the game. Sheffield Wednesday. Jim Calliope, born in Scotland, of Irish parents. Signed from Chelsea. Warner taken by the outside right pew. Calliope to Quinn. This is right. And again, Scott getting up to reach those high balls. Quinn. That's out of play, I think.
Oh God! I remember that. That was nerves, yes. Typical centre half control at the time, yes.
Lining up a back four of right, then
you can hear the ooh.
They took a deflection. Now I'm not sure who it deflected off. And that was the first time Gordon had been to the back of the net in our cup run.
Let's see if we can. Well, can't quite.
It could have been Ray Wilson. I seem to think it took a deflection. Could have been Ray and off through his legs.
That is the Quinn. Champion just pounced the ball and playing deep for Wednesday. He wears number 11, but he's a midfield player.
Now, that must have been a real stunner to go a goal down against an unfancied side.
It was.
So quickly.
And as you can see here, we haven't got to grips with the game at all. Our midfield is not making much of an impression so far.
And this is Scott. He's got Young in the middle, Trebilco. And Kalioff. Now up comes Wilson. Young, and no goal, he's offside. Young is offside.
Now, to be fair, that did look offside, yes. Although at the time, you sort of want everything to be in, and being one down, but it was definitely offside. That there was no disputing it.
Somebody's had a word with Kenneth about Trebilco. He started out as Trebilcock, didn't he?
That is right. Cornish name, so the people from Cornwall will know it's Trebilco. Liverpudlians would call it Treblecock, but I can't repeat that joke.
And here's Young onside, should be the equaliser. No penalty.
Now there,
Must say that looked a penalty.
it looked a penalty, but I've seen it since in slow motion on an Everton video, and I must be fair, latterly it doesn't seem like a penalty, because Springett is going for the ball, and Young, I think, knows he can't get the ball, and
He seemed to catch him with his feet.
yes,
though.
well, I mean, I've seen penalties given for things like that, where the goalkeeper's inadvertently brought down the... perhaps in today's, with the way the law is today, you know, they may have given that, because he impeded him, certainly, but I don't think it was intentional.
I wonder if you'd been quite as fair as that if you'd lost this match.
No, well, at the time I was shouting for a penalty with the best of them. There's no danger of that.
I think the ref was a Liverpool fan, wasn't he?
Jack Taylor. I remember Jack. You'd say to Jack, that wasn't a goal, and he'd say, well, look in tomorrow's Sunday Express, and fair enough, there was the goal in the Sunday Express, so you couldn't win with the man. He wouldn't brook any interference from the players. He was fair, but a hard, straight referee. You couldn't talk around him.
Nice man, Jack. Works for the Football League these days.
The Wolverhampton butcher, but just about this time he wasn't very popular with Everton fans.
I think most people remember him, Brian, for giving that penalty in the first minute of a World Cup final.
Well, that just about
Holland
bears it.
against Germany.
I remember that. That just about bears out how a penalty's a penalty, whether it's the first minute or the last minute, really. But not many referees would have given that.
You're getting the run around here.
We are. We're very lucky in this particular. Yes, very lucky. That could have been curtains. See, apart from a few flourishes where we probably could have had a goal, our midfield hasn't settled down. And
What is it, Brian, about a cup final? It's going to happen time and again in this series. The fancied team just doesn't perform. Sunderland and Leeds is one that comes to mind. We'll see that later in this series. Why is that?
I think it's just the pressure that it's a one-off, you know, and you know that everything depends on that particular game. And in Everton's case, we hadn't won the Cups since Dixie Dean's time in 1933. And of course, with Liverpool having won the Cup the year before, and of course, Bill Shankly was just getting the Liverpool team moving around that time. A lot of pressure on Everton, because we were the top team in the city at this time. But then the balance of power was starting to shift around this time, you know.
Another nasty deflection, and that could
Yes, well, you know, we could have been a couple down here, because Gordon was off his line there, and see, you can see even from the back, we're not composed at the back, and we're just hoofing these long balls, and our forward line wasn't a tall forward line. It's a bit like Sheffield's forward line. We didn't have any size there. We had skill and pace, but we're just bypassing our midfield.
Starting to announce that it's also easy. And the whistle goes for half-time. Everton 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1. The scorer of the goal in the 4th minute, Kalioff. Again, fine performance in this first half by Sheffield Wednesday. And as they go to the dressing room now, the players have to go through the Wednesday supporters and how happy they are.
So 1-0 to Sheffield Wednesday at half-time. Quite a second half coming up, and more, of course. Welcome back. 1966, then Everton against Sheffield Wednesday. 1-0 to the Owls at half-time. Our guest is Brian Labone, who skippered Everton on the afternoon. No hint at this stage of the drama that was about to unfold. Let's rejoin the match early in the second half.
And it's Temple now. adorably smiling photographer at the back must be a Sheffield fan, mustn't he? Either that, or else he got a wonderful shot at that great save. And Sheffield Wednesday coming away with it, leading 1-0. And noticeable now, Gabriel is plodding along very much behind the players. If he's lost, and Harris too. Harris still hasn't got back in position. So both the Everton wing halves are looking very leg weary. And Kaliog, and it could well have been a second goal, because I think the first one seemed to me to be diverted. There's Jim Kaliog, Paddy, who said he was choked when he got the goal that clinched their semi-final victory against his old team, Chelsea. And Labone has to take this goal.
I think I remember this was a terrible kick, this one, because that ball was like a brick. Yeah, look at that. I remember that one. Yes, just reaching the halfway line. With a second bounce, I think. Well done, Tom.
It must be a wee bit grim for the Merseysiders.
I keep expecting the goal to come, you see, and it. I don't know, it was just after. This looks like it now.
Just about clinch it as Wednesday's Cup. It's scored one in the 5th round, 2 in the 6th round. And
well, we remember Kenneth Wolstenholme for those immortal words in the World Cup final, but I very wished he'd never uttered those. That should just about clinch it. 2-0 Wednesday. Mind you, at the time you must have felt
the thoughts went through my mind. Yes, yeah. And this is where they made the fatal mistake. I think they themselves thought that was it, and they relaxed, and I think we hit them back very quickly here.
2-0 the way you were playing.
Oh yes, we haven't started playing. And it's a big pitch, Wembley, when you're 2 down.
Down the years, Gordon must have seen that ball come at him time and again, and held onto it in his dreams.
Yes, yeah. A little bit of petulance from Gordon there. A little bit of petulance.
Alex Young. Harvey to Gabriel to Harris. Now a chance for Trabuco. He scored.
Very good goal, wasn't
it? Yeah, it was a very well. I was pleased with that. Yes, yeah. That was a footballing goal.
"59 minutes of play, so we've got, what, 31 minutes left. And there the happy Everton fans. There's Temple, the man who flicked the ball to Trabuco. Trabuco, number 8, was the scorer. It's 2-1 for Sheffield Wednesday. Offside. Ford is offside. I think the linesman right on the spot. That's Jim McCalliog, scorer of the first goal. Alex Young.
So you can just see we're taking control a bit now.
Alex taking over. Scott.
That goal has knocked the stuffing out of them a wee bit.
Great atmosphere as well.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Next, an indirect free kick to Everton. Sheffield Wednesday have brought everybody back now. They have 11 men between the ball and
I scored about 2 in about 600 games, so I wasn't very lethal in the box, but I managed to upset them a little bit on this one here.
Trabuco. A goal! He's equalised!
So Mike's had 2 or 3 shots, is it? And there's 2 goals.
2 good goals. I could see you on the floor there. You got flattened, didn't you?
That's right. I was facing. Yeah. The ball just squeezed up between me and the defender, And you see, I'm facing the other way there. Look at that. I just saw it going in through somebody's legs, I think. Now, there's Eddie Cavana.
You know him, do you?
I know Eddie. I played in the Everton youth team with Eddie Cavana in the late 50s. He was an ex-Everton. There I'm trying to remonstrate with the policeman saying, I'm Westy. He's one of us, one of us.
You knew him then?
I knew it, yes, yeah. Eddie reckons he was thrown out, but he got back in after that.
Of course he did. He's a good scouser.
But years later, with him knowing half the underworld in Liverpool, he became an Everton steward, so he could, you know, he could sort out the roughnecks.
From 2-0 down to 2-all. And what a cup final.
And now then, Sheffield get really uptight a bit now, and they start putting us under a bit of pressure. And it's mainly as they're sort of pressurising us now. The poor old Jerry Young makes that mistake. And of course, I think Derek Temple, even though I'm biased, I think it's the finest winning goal I've seen in a cup final.
It was some ball that set him up, wasn't it?
Yes, yes, but it went under Jerry Young's foot, didn't it, unfortunately?
I think that was a spin that took it there, wasn't it?
Yeah, and because Jerry was one of their best players that day, it was tragic. But that, as I say, can always happen to a back four player. You can play well, and one error, and you're the villain.
And it was a very famous incident, wasn't it?
But Derek had like hours to think about it, didn't he? And Ron Springer coming out and spitting on his hands, and then Derek just buried it past him. But it wasn't over yet. It wasn't over yet. I remember that one.
Cries of "get it out."
Oh, that was a reasonable effort at a pass, that then. It was only round Trebilco's throat.
Harris. Stewart. This is Harris. Without a doubt, the Everton players who found their strength now. Scott. And Quinn. Going into Phantom. Quinn once again. Phantom. Very slowly. Space is harder to find at the moment for Sheffield Wednesday. Everton bumping around with much more purpose than they were doing, covering the gaps, making
Here we go.
Yeah, tragic.
And it's the third goal. Oh, what a tragedy for Jerry Young.
Oh God. There's Westy. Get back. I'm still back in our half there, thinking, my God, there's 10 minutes to go.
Westy's celebrating on the halfway.
Westy was
He
celebrating.
could have done anything with this.
Yes,
Taken it on.
yeah. And Ron seemed to have, you know, partly have got his hand to it, but...
Now, did you know this young man?
No, I didn't know this lad, no.
It's a busy afternoon for the police.
Yes. I think Eddie Cavana was the first crowd invader, yeah? Pitch invader, whatever.
I bet he was back in to see that goal.
Well, he reckons he got back in.
Certainly no credit to the great team that they support.
Of course, all these policemen were auxiliaries. They were sort of, you know, they were trainee policemen. Of course, they were very much out to impress the superintendent.
I mean, we don't like to see it, do we, fans on the pitch? But you can understand the exhilaration and the exuberance, can't you?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Now here, Alex should have shot instead of passed, I think. Look at that, yeah. So Mike could possibly, you know, very close to having a hat-trick. And if he's touched the ball half a dozen times, you know.
Final word on those fans, and you know one of them. There was no malice, was there, you felt in those days?
No, in those days
there
weren't. It was just part of the festival.
What's going through your mind now, then? You've stayed back and not joined the celebrations at 3-2 because there was time left, and you were right.
We've got from a position where we were dead to 3-2 up, and there's no way we're going to lose it now. No way at all. But then Sheffield obviously kept putting us under pressure, you see. And I think that the last 10 minutes, I think they had the better of the game. We were sort of consolidating, and they were obviously desperate. And we had a few, as you've just seen, the last 15 minutes, we had more chances at their end because they were stretched out a wee bit. And Jimmy Gable gets the ball by the corner flag later on. And it seems like he's there for 5 minutes where they just got his sole of his boot on the ball. But that was godsend to the likes of me and a few of the lads at the back whose tongues were hanging out. I think this could be it now. This is it now. He goes into the corner now. He's only there for a minute. It mightn't even be a minute, but it seems like a year. And we're saying, Jimmy, stay there, stay there.
Well, it was some time, wasn't it?
Yes, it was very good. Yeah, yeah. Now.
Alone I did it.
I think Jim knew we'd won it there. Yeah. Because Jim used to feel the heat terribly, and he was. Well, you can see there now. He's gone. He's done his bit. He's done his bit for the course.
One of the great turnarounds, this, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Can you put your finger on it? Why?
Well, I can't. I think the defence tightened up a bit in the second half, but it could chip it down to one man, Mike Trebilco. Sent like manna from heaven.
Wednesday, who were leading 2-0, 1966 Cup final. So we could be a year out. 3-2, Debbie Wednesday down in their corner. Everyone messing in the Everton penalty area.
Yes, it was rather nail-biting times just there the last few minutes. Because we're all, you can see, Sheffield are obviously tired because they've run all over the place, and we've gone through all the emotions. And it was a very warm day.
And the crowd getting ready for the signal that Everton have won the cup. 3 goals in a glittering, glorious 15 minutes. Everton.
It's fair to speculate on there being a few pints drunk on Merseyside on the night, eh?
Yes. The funny thing after this, though, we had obviously the Milk Marketing Board had sponsored us for some money in the players' pool. So you've got to go and drink a pint of milk immediately after this. And if you've ever drunk a pint of milk on a hot summer's day at Wembley, it's like drinking a pint of custard. Honestly, it was.
I remember that, you know, at the end of the match. That's right. While being interviewed, everybody carried the milk,
a bottle of milk, yeah.
The referee's attention has been called to Jerry Young, but he says play on. There's no time left. Everton have won. It's 3 goals to 2. A sensational cup final has been won by Everton. And Young has collapsed. He can hardly move, and Scott has come to have a look at him. The trainer goes on to Jerry Young. And the Everton players sportingly going to Sam Ellis to congratulate him. Fred Pickering, I can see. There's Fred Pickering, the man who was dropped.
I think we were all well and truly bushed after that game.
And Harry Catrick, the manager. What a fantastic comeback by this team. Up to 57 minutes, Wednesday got a second goal, and Everton were a beaten side. And then in 15 minutes, they came back with 3 tremendous goals, 2 by Trebilco, 1 by Temple, and they've won the cup. But whoever said that this was going to be a bad final, and now it is worse, because this has been a...
We've spoken to Bobby Moore, Brian, about being a winning skipper and the feeling that you have at this time. What was it like for you?
Oh, it was a marvellous feeling. It's just that you let everything go so quickly. If I'd had my time over, I'd walk up 2 steps and walk back 3. But you just go up there and you've got the cup in your hand, you show it to the crowd, you do your lap of honour. And I think I'd milk it a bit more if I had my time back, but I was just relieved to to have won the cup there, you know, basically from the position we were in. Because we expected to win. And then through my mind went the fact we went 2 down. We lost, it'll have to be next year. And then, thanks to Mike Trebilco, he had about 6 touches during the game and knocked the ball in the net twice. And then Derek Temple's marvellous.
Do you remember this?
I remember Princess Margaret, yeah, she was a beauty in those days, wasn't she?
Still is.
I remember it very well.
Still chasing the knighthood.
But that was a marvellous feeling, that. But you just, I mean, I've just walked past, you know, Earl Montgomery there. You just shake a hand. You don't realise who you just got your eyes on the cup, and you want to go out and see your wife and your family afterwards and take it round to show the fans, you know. Very, very emotional. And there's Mike, God bless him.
I can see what you mean. That was rather hurried, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. You don't realise. You just. And of course, I've been in that position myself later on. It's no matter how much you console the losing team, you know, it's not enough. Because they had it won. And I think
well, two up. I
know you should never lose.
Won,
I mean, I've been in plenty of occasions where we've been 2-up and lost, but you technically shouldn't lose. But it's just that moment after they got the second goal, they relaxed a bit. And of course, the way they were playing and the way we were playing, you could forgive them for thinking they had it in the bag. Although we did we kept on playing football, or started to play football in the second half. And started playing through our midfield. If you'll notice that at least one of the goals was from a very well worked out move.
Well, the first was a beautiful goal.
Yes, yeah.
And
as I say, Harry Catterick liked a bit of steel in the team, but he always said, keep on playing. That's why you're here. You're the man for man, he would say to you, you're the better team. But when you're 2 down, you don't. It doesn't matter, does it?
Coming into the centre of the pitch.
This was
the first time where the losing side.
Yes, I think it was.
Went to the Everton end. I think that was marvellous. That, yeah. Mind you, we were so blinking relieved, I think. Because to go back, I mean, I've been back to Liverpool without the cup, and that's a terrible feeling.
Well, that was 68.
You've got everything else there. You've got the bus and the crowds, but they've nothing to blink and wave at them, and it's embarrassing. Of course, being your own home club, you know, and being a biased Everton that I am, and the amount of stick I did get from the Liverpudlians.
Do you remember any of this?
Very little. I remember as I went off, somebody asked me to give an interview. And I remember Father saying when I got home, Brian, he said, I know you're born in Liverpool, but you sounded terribly Scouse over the mic. And of course, my father said that to me as if I cared whether I was Scouse or Hottentot. I just was so relieved and my voice was hoarse, you know, but he said, you should speak a bit better than that. And I don't even remember what I said or whatever.
There's Wednesday on their lap.
Yes, yeah, that was the first time, and they fully deserve that, yes.
Well, that's really what you've been talking about, isn't it? Taking your time, milking it.
That's right,
so
yes,
you've been beaten, but
I think
great pride in going.
Yes, I think that's right. But then saying to get to Wembley is a great thing. I think you'll see latterly football teams over the last few years, they do spread it out a bit more and take half an hour on the pitch rather than 5 minutes.
Young man on the left there with his hand firmly on that cup.
That's right, yeah. Magical days, yeah.
Now, apart from the milk that had to get drunk, what was the immediate release like in the dressing room?
Oh, brilliant, yeah, brilliant. Champagne squirted all over the place. And we had the reception at the Grosvenor House, I think. I think we stayed at the Waldorf in Aldwych, and we used to always stay there. Then the Grosvenor House, and we met the 1933 Cup-winning side at a reception. Dixie Dean and all the old chaps, you know. But Bessie Braddock, remember Bessie Braddock, the MP? She was there. It was a marvellous night.
It was a final and a half, wasn't it?
It was much better when the final whistle went, mind you, but brings back great memories.
And then there was the bus, and of course you did have the cup to go back to Merseyside.
Going back with the cup as well. Yes, I think we got off the train at Allerton, which is about 7 or 8 miles outside Liverpool city centre, and God, there were 20 deep.
In a year when we've said that Liverpool, of course, had got the title. Not that you were aware of that.
No. Everton, as I say, Liverpool were coming into their own then, starting. We were the team of the 60s, but Liverpool was starting to come in. Of course, Liverpool took over in the 70s. But
there's a few years left from that Everton side, particularly, wasn't there?
We got to one more. We lost to West Brom in '68 and got to a semi-final in '67. We had a very good cup run, and then we culminated. We won the league in 1970 with a very good side, if you remember.
Joe Royle leading the line.
But winning the cup is a one-off because some of the best players in the country have never got a cup winners medal. Because it's just a one-off, isn't it? You have one bad day. We had a bad day in the final. That's why we could have lost it, but fortunately we managed to turn it round, thanks to Mike Trebilco.
Well, we've picked one or two faces at the end of these matches to talk about. What about Ray Wilson and Colin Harvey, of course, we know plenty about. Ray, you said, was a great character.
Ray was a great character. He was full of fun in the dressing room before the game, whereas quite a few of us were a little bit sort of more sombre, and he kept the team spirit going.
Won the World Cup, of course, 2 months later.
That's right, Ray, yes.
Went on to become a funeral director.
Yes, yeah. I've met Ray recently. We had a reunion about 12 months ago for the '66 Cup final side.
You want it to be a few years before you meet him again?
Yes, so he looks like an undertaker now, Ray. He's got a full set of beard, you know, and little glasses, and he definitely looks like... and he just size you up and he looks at you now. So I must go on that diet one of these days.
And Colin Harvey, who's, well, I mean,
Colin's
life has really been about Everton, hasn't he? Yeah. Didn't he have a spell at Wednesday as a youth team coach?
That's right, yes. Colin went to Sheffield, then came back and obviously had a spell at Goodison. And he's very pleased now, I would tell you, that Howard is back on, you know, in the hot seat. But Colin was only a young lad there in '66, basically, so his better years on the Everton side were to come, culminating in the 1969-70 Championship side. And
Wednesday, of course, Megson and McCalliog. Megson, a name that... It was Gary, of course, played for Everton, wasn't it?
That's right, and went on. This plays for City now, yes, yeah. Don was a fine fullback, yeah.
And Jim McCalliog went... Well, how many clubs did he end up with?
He did go to Chelsea afterwards, I think.
All over the place, wasn't he? United.
Yeah, he was a fine player.
When they beat United in '76.
That's right. So whilst that was he probably didn't expect to beat us, although they were very close to doing it, and they wouldn't have expected to have beaten. Who was it? United? Did you say?
It was United. It was his ball that sent Bobby Stokes away.
Yes, well there you are. You see, there are favourites in the final, but it's a one-off, and if you have the bad day, as we did for half the match, and then to go 2 down. That was, it really went through my mind after Wolstenholme had said that's it. I actually thought that was it. Although even a lot of Evertonians, you could win bets on this, thought Everton were 2 down at half-time.
And would win?
There was, well, no, not would win, but was so shell-shocked they actually thought we were 2 down at half-time, whereas...
Really?
Yes, yeah. It was 2 down just after half-time.
Still got the medal?
Oh, certainly, yes, yeah.
Get it out every now and again?
Yes, it's still there to be, you know, a little bit of Duraglit, you know, I'm not sure if they put Duraglit on a medal or not like that, but my Mark puts Duraglit on anyway. So, but I've still got the medal, yeah.
And what are you doing now?
I work with an insurance company now. I have done for 14 years, so I've been in insurance longer than I was in soccer. Although that's marvellous, that. You won't have memories from insurance like you'll have from...
No, you'd have taken a policy out on that one as
yes,
well.
Yes, certainly, yeah. I wish there'd been a betting shop around at that time as well. We could have had a good, a good bet knowing the result.
Brian, it's been great. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. I've enjoyed seeing that again.
It was our pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So 1966, a great year.